Hey guys, it's Brad here. Today I've got a fresh new solution template to show you, straight out of our Kademi design studios. This one is a really good template for manufacturer brands that have a strong dealer channel and you're trying to optimize and incentivize sales from that channel. So I'll show you this in a moment, but really what it's bringing together is it's incentivizing through leaderboards is one, which is really a strong incentive mechanic for where you have a community or there's something that really brings your dealers together, whether they're in a local area, like in a certain country, or if you have a really market-leading brand and a well-known brand, or also if your industry is quite tight-knit. Often that's the case for more niche industries that everyone knows everyone. But also, so leaderboards are a really exciting and a really fun way of driving sales. Obviously, if we're talking about a dealer portal here, it's not just that one competition or one promotion. So you really want to complement that with the usual sorts of dealer engagement tools we use, things like e-learning, resources, news and updates, specifically for your dealer channel, as well as other promotions, things like in-store displays and things like that. I'll take you through the components of the solution. So here at the top, so I'm logged in as someone called Chloe. It's telling me the sales that I've got in this current period and where that puts me in terms of my ranking against other salespeople. Now, just to talk about sales for a moment. So there is the two ways of getting sales information. One is usually called sell-in data versus sell-out data. Sell-in data, you as the manufacturer brand, this is your data. You know how much stock you've sold to each dealer, typically straight out of your ERP. Although you won't know whether that stock has been sold to end customers. And if it has, you won't know which sales rep sold it. So and that by itself is great data. You can use that to incentivize the dealership as a whole or the dealer principal. But often it's much more powerful if you can engage with each of the salespeople directly and reward them for the sales they get. To do that, you need sell out data. So sales of the dealer to a consumer. And that will normally not be available to brands through your ERP, right? But Kademi has a solution. You can use our sales claim process, which allows your dealers, staff, claim sales by uploading proof of purchase. And that can optionally include what we call sales tagging, which is where, you know the sales made by the dealership, but just not which one was by each rep. You can let them choose and they can tag or claim the sales that they make. By any of these means, you'll end up with a situation where you can actually generate a leaderboard. And that's what we're showing here. Just a really quick summary. Now, in terms of what the period is, you will usually want to do quarterly sales promotions. That's usually the best combination of timeliness and but also having a long enough period of time to be substantial. Also, it's often good to tie it to seasons, especially if you're in an industry that has high seasonality. Things like, for example, pools or sporting equipment often are very seasonal. So you might want to drive certain activities as you come into a season or leave it. If we just scroll down a little further, so we've got a few panels here. Personal results, which I'll show you that in a moment. So that's where the user can see their particular sales data. They can get more information about how that result came about. The dealership results, this is often, as I said before, there's a choice to be made between incentivizing the dealership as a whole versus the individual salespeople. And usually the best answer to that is both. There's real value by incentivizing either the dealer principal, as in the person who owns or manages the dealership, because that's who you have your business relationship with at the end of the day. Very, very valuable, very important. And as I said, the salespeople, they're the ones who are actually talking to customers and getting those sales. So it's a good idea to have both represented in your program. And then the third tab here is a link to resources. So in this solution, we're bringing together e-learning modules, tutorials about product training, which I'll talk about in a moment, but also PDFs and documents, often manuals, specifications, marketing material, anything like that you want to provide to your dealer channel. Then we have promotions, and honestly, if you want your dealer program to succeed, you got to do it with promotions. That's how you keep it fresh and keep it engaging and generate real affection for your brand by your channel. So when they're talking to a customer, they will speak confidently and warmly about your products and your brand. And rewards hub. So we're talking about incentives here. We're giving people points for doing things, getting sales or topping the leaderboard. But those points need to do something. And in this case, what we've got is a reward store for merchandise. We've also got auctions. So much fun. Everyone loves auctions, honestly. It's like the cheat code to winning in a dealer engagement program. So a lot of people will fixate on the incentives, but honestly, that's not the right way to approach it. This is your lever, right? That's all it is. This is what gets people into your program. Super important. You need that. But then you want to go beyond that. And that's what everything else here is about. Yes, you're going to start with that incentives, that loyalty, but then we're going to build on that with knowledge, with promotions, with real engagement, and going beyond just a transactional relationship. We've got down here a couple of panels with those current promotions for this dealer. Remember, you can target promotions very finely with your dealer channel, either by region, by type of dealer, size. You'll often have a few really big dealer channels that you might want to target them a certain way. Then you got you'll usually have a larger number of smaller ones. And often it doesn't make sense to interact with them both those sets the same way. And dealer updates, so news and information, are really important to bring your dealers into the loop, what's happening with your company. Now, you can, of course, stick all this on social media, but there is often information that you want to give to your dealers. It's not appropriate to stick that on your Facebook for all your consumers to see. It's just not the sort of thing they're interested in. And also, it's good your dealers often like to think of themselves as having a privileged relationship with your brand, right? So you should be giving them more information than what you give to consumers. And this is a great way of doing that. And just down the bottom here, one thing that's really nice to do is just have a support contact, the sales rep for each dealer. So it's right there. They can get that information. So here's Chloe. We're going to see her results. Right. So total sales this quarter, and where that puts Chloe in the rank. Now you can see here. So Chloe she's not at the top of the leaderboard. So that maybe gives her a little bit of a impetus to realize you can do better and see what these other people are doing. Although it is important, remember, these things do need to be targeted. Like some dealerships in urban areas will do better than those in rural areas, for example. So it's really important that you do target these appropriately so people are competing against each other in a fair way. Also, it's pretty common that you would have a special category for rookies, for the newcomers who they're not going to get the same sales as the veterans. You can also often do your leaderboards, instead of doing on just total sales, do it on growth relative to last year. That evens things up a bit, although obviously that's only for people who have been around for a while. Now, the other thing too is you see here we're showing the names of the other salespeople. This is really appropriate in some circumstances where, it is a community and everyone knows each other. But if it's more of a dispersed sales network, then no, you should obviously hide those names. That would be a breach of privacy. In Kademi, that's super easy to do. Chloe can see where she is at the moment. She can see what she needs to do to get to the top of the leaderboard. The rest of those promotions here, and then we're showing what she's getting points for, right? So this can be for each sale. So, for example, if you're selling large appliances or cars, each sale will show up as a number of points. Now, by the way, I'm talking points here. This is the normal Kademi solution, is that we incentivize with points, and then points can be converted into something of value. A lot of businesses really just want money, right? We just want to give them money. And in which case, you just, instead of using points, you use the word dollars, right? It's the same thing. Okay, so let's jump right along here to company results. So the staff member, Chloe in this case, can see how her dealership as a whole is going. Where this is super powerful is it does encourage teamwork within a dealership, encourages that competition across dealerships. The other thing too is there's less of a concern about privacy, because all you're showing are business names. Business names are going to be usually public anyway. Still some cases where that would be commercially sensitive to show company names there, but in many cases it's fine. But to show dealership names, even when you wouldn't show individuals' names. This little visualization here is showing that they're at 26% of the dealership target for the quarter, and saying that, well, at this rate, you're not going to hit a target, right, where they're going to be rewarded for hitting that target. And usually when we're talking about dealership targets, you will usually decide on a specific target for each dealership rather than just having like a fixed amount. And that will usually be tied to their previous year. Yeah, and then they'll be loaded into the system, of course. Right, so now if we look at Resources Hub, and remember, this is where the real magic happens. This is where you go beyond a transactional relationship to a knowledge relationship. You want, in this case, we're talking about renewable technology, which is a massive growth area. And I've been looking at getting solar panels on my house recently. Then there is a lot of information in there, for me as a consumer, which I need to get from the dealer that I'm talking to. So obviously it's the brands who really have that depth of knowledge and who want to share that with their dealers to help their dealers get sales. So and that's done by these two ways. One is resources, technical manuals, marketing and sales material, things like that. And then also training courses. Now, often people within an industry, accreditation from major brands. So running e-learning courses like this, making them available with that great knowledge that you as a manufacturer in your industry will no doubtedly have. And this is one of those things where it costs you nothing to give them access to this knowledge, but it's incredibly valuable for your dealers. So again, that's leverage that you can use to create a knowledge-based relationship with your dealers. So here I can see Chloe has started on the first couple of courses, but she hasn't started the sales training course yet. Now, we will usually give people points. Your brands will normally give points to dealers for doing training. It's not necessarily the case, but usually there is such great value for you as a brand to have your dealer channel learning about your products. It's usually a no-brainer to give them, $10 of points for learning about your hero products. And that's well worth doing. All right. So now we're into the fun area, the rewards hub. Well, firstly, there's this My Account link at the top. That's so they can see the rewards they've got and the orders they've placed. But then we jump right into options. So we've just got these 3 options running here. Now, again, options are amazing because if you blast out an email to your dealers and say, hey, we're running, you've got these options going and they're fun, exciting looking things, like tickets to an exclusive event or, some highly sought after product, you're going to get a massive response rate where they're bidding with their points, the points they've got for doing the training, for getting sales. And then you tell them, hey, you can go get these amazing things, and they will start bidding and outbidding each other and generates massive engagement. Obviously, there is a little bit of overhead there in actually sourcing the products and taking care of the fulfillment. It's often best to get one of Kademi's partners who specialize in those incentives to handle that for you. Makes it a lot easier. And especially these ones, these money can't buy incentives, things that where your company as a brand, perhaps through a sponsorship deal, you've got access to events or other things that people can't just go out and buy. Yeah, incredibly valuable. You can get huge engagement with your dealers and it won't cost you a cent. So that's definitely a thing you should take advantage of. Then we have the reward store because, options are not always going to work, but just to be able to get a nice item with your points, drones, kettles, toasters, gift cards, kitchen appliances, things like that they're always popular. Again, for you as a manufacturer brand, you probably don't want to have to take care of the fulfillment yourself. Much better to bring one of our partners in to do it. And then they'll take care of keeping that catalog fresh and ensuring that they can be fulfilled. I mean, the thing about physical merchandise is there is then that permanent reminder of your brand, right? Like, I got a coffee machine a while ago from someone and I use that all the time. And it's always a reminder of that experience. So, and again, promotions. Now, promotions within Kademi, I can do almost anything. Like this one here, it's triple training points. So by doing e-learning modules, I'm going to get bonus points. This is often like a really powerful component of a product launch. If you're bringing, especially something like a new flagship product to market, you really want your channel to know about that product and be pushing it to customers. Something like this is a great way to support that rollout. Put the e-learning module up there about your new product and then offer triple points, this week or this month. You certainly get a great reaction. Social media, encourage your dealers to bring attention to your brand. They often have great networks within their local area or great reach within their local area. Right. And then the final thing to show you is updates. So this is, again, it's just news as we saw on the dashboard, but just having a page here where your dealers can go back in time and find information previously, get sort of a comprehensive library of information. Now, within this solution, everything is searchable. How could I forget? A chatbot, right? Everything's got to have a chatbot these days. So now what we're seeing here is we previously asked, how do we earn points in the program? And we got all this information here. Now if you loading PDFs with specifications and manuals and things, then this is a great for your dealers to get access to that information. What is the maximum wattage of your solar panels, or does a product support Bluetooth or something, right? So that product information can be very rapidly accessed here by asking the chatbot. The alternative is having to search through the library of documents, finding one, downloading it, and then reading it. So that about brings me to the end here of what I wanted to show. This solution template will be available in the next release, which is next week, I think. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I've touched on a few things in here about the strategy of designing and operating a dealer program. I've got a lot more thoughts about that in blog articles on the Kademi website, and always really happy to jump on a call and just run through some of those things and see how you might be able to use it for your company. So just let me know. Just jump on the contact form on the Kademi website for any details. Thank you very much. Bye.